Hello, my name is Denise Young, life skills coach, educational specialist, and mental health counselor. The tip of the day is about abstinence and communication. And I really wanted to talk about the importance to the parents of communicating with your teen and um, just bridging that gap and just communication and making sure that the teen get the right knowledge about abstinence and why is it so important to wait. And sex, information about sex, but I will talk about that in another video. But I wanted to go back to abstinence and definitely talk straight to the teens about getting advice from individuals that are not knowledgeable. You know how teens and when we were teenagers, they talked about do this, do that, don't do this. I really advise the teens to basically just make sure they talk to an adult, talk to a guidance counselor, talk to your parents. But if you feel uncomfortable and not talking to your parents about sex or things of that nature, find an adult, find a teacher. You can even look on the internet these days to Google information, but make sure that the information is correct. There's many websites out there that can help you gain knowledge about abstinence, sex, STDs, contraceptives. I just really want to just keep putting in your spirit about being knowledgeable about various things and not just taking your peers' words for different things, or even getting peer pressured into having sex at an early age. I just really want you to listen to the information, and for the parents, listen to the information and spread it. Talk to your children, talk to your nieces and nephews, but definitely get the information. Use your internet, find pamphlets from the doctor's office. Just be really knowledgeable, parents and teens, about sex and just preventing it. But this video is basically on abstinence and just how to communicate with your teens and communicate with your parents. One of the things, parents, that I really wanted to talk about is just instilling in your teens about being a leader and not a follower. A lot of times, the reason why teens, start having sex early is because they get pulled in by peer pressure. Everybody else is doing it, and so they want to do it too, or they want to feel loved, or sometimes they're just bored and they do it, or they think they're in love. But I really believe that if we start instilling in our children about being leaders, I think that can reduce the chances of our children having sex at an early age. Also, too, parents, be very open about questions. No question is a dumb question in my household. Ask everything, so that way you kind of know where your children's mind and head is about sex and about different topics. If you just let them talk, you can find out a lot of things about your teen. But here are some few tips that I just want to narrow down real quick. Definitely for the parents, just to have a conversation, and even for the teens to start thinking about it. But my whole object for this video is communicate, communicate, communicate. But one of the things first, the first tip is when your child is young, talk about love and relationships. Talk about respecting others and respecting yourself. This is very, very important because I think as parents or just as society, we do not teach our children, or we haven't really been taught of love and relationships. It's all about, oh, don't have sex, but let's talk about the reason why we don't want them to have sex. We don't want them to jump in too early and have babies or even get STDs. So we really need to explain to them the reasons why we don't want them to have sex. And we want our children to be in love. That's the thing. We want them to have a positive relationship. And I would definitely get into dating more on YouTube videos, and also teen dating, because teen dating is a really big thing, and domestic violence within teen dating. But we really need to start just teaching our children about love and relationships. The second tip that I want to give out is when your son or your daughter becomes a preteen, you should start talking to them about the value of dating. And you don't have to have sex with everybody you date, and this goes for the adults as well. You can date and just enjoy being a teen without having the peer pressure of having sex. And if someone peer pressures you into doing it, just tell them no and then don't talk to them anymore. It's important that you become a leader and you get those core values. And parents, just keep instilling in them that they're special and they're precious. So that way we can just keep the number of teen pregnancies down, and also young adults having sex before they are ready. But definitely talk to them about in dating and the importance of dating. They can be so fun. Your teen years is supposed to be the best time in your life, and we really want, as parents, is to make sure our teen enjoy themselves, because you have time for all the important stuff later on in life when you become an adult. So your teen years are your best years. The next tip that I want to talk about is, once your son and daughter and teenager start becoming an adult and they get up in the 11th and 12th grade, you still want to keep that bridge of communication open at all times. You want to talk to them about sex, relationships, and making healthy choices. Teens make the craziest, decisions, and, as teens, we all did it, but if you keep talking to them and communicating with them about healthy choices, what's right and what's wrong, I really believe we can reduce a lot of the problems that our teens encounter, and it's so much peer pressure that they have to endure. But I really believe communication is the key. Remember, communication, communication, communication. Also, you want to talk to them too about avoiding pregnancy and STDs. And I've said this before, but it's so important to educate your children. We don't want to talk to our children about sex and the birds and the bees, but we really do have to start talking to them, because our children are dying because of lack of knowledge. So I really want you just to communicate. The last tip that I have is, always let your child know that you love them and you're there for them. A lot of times when you're going through adolescent puberty, you just think nobody loves you, and nobody listens to me. So the importance is basically just let your teen know that you're there for them, you love them. And most of the time they don't want to be bothered with you anyway when they're going through puberty, but they listen to you. And also let them know that you're available to talk anytime. Make sure you always let them know. A lot of time, if it's cooking, washing clothes, just for them to sit down and talk to you about some important things. Just listen to your child, and you can figure out what's going on by just listening. I hope that these tips helped. If you can also hit me up on Twitter at Denise L Media. You can hit me up on Facebook, follow me, also at Denise Lorraine Britton-Young. Also, you can follow me on Instagram at The Professional 1908. Hope that these tips helped. See you next time.